Devanand Singh ordered to stay away from his daughter. Woman fatally stabbed by husband. Millions more in the natural resources fund this quarter. And an excuse for abuse. I'm Enrico Bulford and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. Yesterday, the daughter of businessman Devanand Singh was granted a permanent restraining order against her father days after he was charged and placed on bail for allegedly abusing the young woman in an assault that was caught on camera. Singh was charged earlier this month for causing grievous bodily harm and using threatening language against his daughter. A temporary restraining order was issued at the time. The restraining order was made permanent yesterday as Singh faced an additional charge in relation to the brutal assault. The day after the daughter spoke out about the abuse, Singh, along with other family members, appeared on social media claiming that he is not abusive and that parts of the video were edited. But that is obviously a lie. The police office of professional responsibility has launched an investigation into the alleged unprofessional handling of the matter at the Kitty police station. Today, the police issued a wanted bulletin hours after 57-year-old Savitri Raj was brutally stabbed to death by her husband, 56-year-old Vishmal Raj, at their home in Fowles, East Coast, Demerara. The man escaped and remains on the run. Just recently, the wife filed a complaint against the husband after he beat her with a bottle. The man was charged last week but released on bail, and the two continue to live together. He was slated to return to court tomorrow for the continuation of the assault charge. But according to their son, the two ended up in an argument that ended in bloodshed late last night. However, the sister, Sandra Hirlol, said she was confused, as the couple were living a happy life up until a month ago when the argument started and the threats of abuse began. She said she would visit them often and was left confused by the sudden problems in their relationship. About 3 months after GPL was forced to shut down its power plant in Garden of Eden, Prime Minister Mark Phillips says that the plant has been cleared for use. However, Wärtsilä has been unable to identify what triggered the January 14th shutdown. GPL was forced to shut down the brand new power plant amid fears of a massive explosion. Since then, a team of engineers from Wärtsilä has been attempting to identify what caused the issue. Local authorities are still awaiting a report from the company. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's car of the day. Currently on sale, this is 2014 Audi Q3. It comes with Bluetooth, mug rims, new tires, TV, CD, stereo, fog lamps, electronic parking brake, back camera, and much, much more. Buy cash for $5.6 million. All paid down as low as $1,120,000 down, with around $108,000 monthly for 5 years, and it's yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info. Or visit the showrooms at Look 171 Peter Road Street, Queenstown, or Look 2 Lamar Street, and tell Enrico sent you for this sweet, sweet deal. 2 U.S. citizens who were outgoing passengers at the Chedichagan International Airport were arrested on Sunday with forged Rona test certificates. The man and woman were preparing to board a New York-bound Caribbean Airlines flight when their test certificate that carried the Sheriff Medical Center logo was suspected to be forged. Airport employees contacted the sheriff and confirmed the forgery. The two were handed over to the police for questioning, but later released on bail. While the matter is under investigation, the police refused to publish the names of the suspects. Yesterday, a badly decomposed body was discovered on the foreshore of Dancing Mike Coney. The body is suspected to be that of missing fisherman Sujraj Daneshwar. The newsroom understands that the body is presently at the Bailey's funeral home and a DNA test will be conducted soon. Police disclosed that the remains were found between some rocks in the Maikoni River by a fisherman around 10 in the morning. Just over 2 weeks ago, Daneshwar fell overboard while out fishing with his captain off the coast of Bath Settlement. He was reportedly clinging to an icebox when the boat capsized. The icebox has since been recovered. The police are now treating the disappearance of GEA employee Levoy Taljit as a murder case 9 years after the disappearance. Today, the police issued a wanted bulletin for a suspect in the murder of 44-year-old Sustak resident Rivan Shervin Francis. The man's last known address was given as Sham Ali Sustak, East Bank, Demerara. Francis was previously held for questioning about Taljit's disappearance in 2013, but was released from custody without being charged for any crime. He became a person of interest in 2013 when he was reportedly found in possession of some of the missing man's belongings. Francis had admitted to selling a cell phone that belonged to him and hiding in his car, but maintained that he had nothing to do with the young man's disappearance. The vehicle was found stashed in a trail along the Linden-Sustak Highway. Who said luxury can't be affordable? Move into your own home in 2022. Lenore Estates, West Coast, and Marara properties are within your reach. Move out of the landlord's place and put that rent money towards your own 5,000 square foot property. Call or WhatsApp 592-618-5702 for more info. The Government Analyst Food and Drug Department is advising the public that there is a recall of all batches of Kinder chocolate products manufactured at the Ferro Ardennes facility in Rue Pietro Ferro 5R Lawn in Belgium due to a salmonella outbreak. Food contaminated with salmonella may not look or even smell spoiled, but it can make you sick. Young children, pregnant women, the elderly, and people with weakened immune systems may contract serious and sometimes deadly infections, just like the Rona. Healthy people may experience short-term symptoms such as fever, headache, vomiting, nausea, abdominal cramps, and diarrhea, also like the Rona. Long-term complications may include severe arthritis, unlike the Rona. Now for today's oil update. The Natural Resources Fund gained US $151,412 in interest for the first quarter of 2022. According to the Bank of Guyana's Q1 report, the market value of the fund at March 31st of this year stood at US $719.81 million, an increase of 18.46% from the previous quarter. During the period under review, it was noted that inflows into the fund amounted to US $112.02 million, comprising of profit oil and royalties. Since its inception, the fund has received US $638.52 million from 10 lifts of profit oil and US $81.01 million from royalties. In March of this year, the Federal Reserve increased its target range for the federal funds rate from 0% to 0.25% to 0.25% to 0.5%. As a result, the interest rate of overnight deposits was increased, and the fund was able to earn a higher level of interest income on its overnight deposits. So, good for us, we're getting more oil money. You can multiply your cash by selling digital top-up. This is a legit way you can earn much money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy by linking with Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. Now for today's stupid news. You know what I think is stupid? Excusing abuse. This time I'm talking about Evinan Beatdown Singh. Despite the clear video evidence of the beating, many people are defending his actions, which is unacceptable. There is never an excuse for abuse. Period. Now, there is such a thing as disciplining your child, but that videotape was evidence of a criminal assault. He beat her like she stole something, and even if she did steal something, that is still unacceptable. In fact, if you defend his actions, you're just as bad as him in my eyes. This man is an abuser, and people like that should be condemned by society no matter how much money or influence they have. Now that brings me to an even bigger point. You know it's even worse than excusing abuse? Giving a nationwide audience to an abuser. This is why I say, Guyanese critic, you would ought to be ashamed of yourself for giving that brute the opportunity to even justify his actions. That wasn't an interview you did, it was a PR stunt. Critics, you're not a journalist, nor will you ever be respected as one. Not here, not abroad, not ever. And giving a platform to Singh and his traumatized family is an example of the bottom-of-the-barrel content people come to expect from your online brand. And the fact that people even supported your actions means we live in a society where abuse against women and children is taken lightly and is something worthy of just posting all online. And if you ask me, that is pretty stupid. Now for our Uncut News Views Poll question of the day. Every day we pose the question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. Yesterday's question was, is Palmyra a good location for another urban center, or should an existing one like New Amsterdam be expanded? Frankly, I'm all in support of expanding New Amsterdam, but here's what you all said. Jay Charm said Berbice and Linden have been shunned for many years, so I think both places are in need of infrastructural development. Indeed. Lynn Bishop says, I'm from New Amsterdam. That's already a town with 3 banks, 3 cinemas, an established large marketplace, YMCA, Booker's Faculty Court, Bata, etc., 2 main roads of shopping, the Pitt Street corridor, with retail stores, many large hotels, etc. New Amsterdam is established. Where the bridge crosses over is a large area with no development. On reaching Berbice, it looks bad. It's all bush. That's the area I think they should develop, and I think that's where the Palmyra area is. There are no banks or stores for the people in that area. If that area opens up and have a few buildings, the place will start developing, and that could be another little town. Hopefully. So, sounds like you're all for it. And Scorpio Kid says, I think they should focus more on rehabilitation works and make any available center more advanced. It just seems to be a deliberate act to cripple the town of New Amsterdam. Just saying. Well, I guess that's one way to look at it. So before we get to tonight's question, do you own a truck? No, not the disease. I mean a real truck. like DAF, International, Freightliner, Bedford TM, or Scammell, then come. Get high-quality truck parts at the lowest prices at Powered Automotive. Visit them at Lot 1161 EE Eccles or call them on telephone number 697-0171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. Now for tonight's question. Despite Devanand Singh's connections and his money, do you think he will actually be fairly charged in court? Or will this just be another Gary Best? I want you to think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night, folks.